Merry meet and welcome to our stream, everybody. This is Ariel Gatoga, and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch for a general reading for all signs. Moderating today on YouTube is the lovely Honeypaw, and moderating on Twitch is the lovely Diane. Let's see. If you are watching on YouTube on a restream, you can fast forward through all of the shuffling I'm about to do by using the timestamps in the video description. I am reading with this Dutch tarot, the Vandenborg tarot. And I'm going to purify with this Provence Santé Verveine. It's a lovely Van, instead of using smudge or any burning of incense. This is a general reading for all signs, so it goes out to a lot of people. Therefore, if for some reason it doesn't seem to apply to you personally, just disregard it because it may not be meant for you. In that case, check out the zodiacal readings for your individual sun sign, rising sign, and or moon sign, and you can find all of those really easily on my website at ariels-corner.com, arielscorner with a hyphen.com. Just check in the link in the main menu for free tarot readings. You can follow the prompts on the screen if you'd like to give us a donation or go to our shop. Just know that our shop is an affiliate store. We receive a small commission off of each and every sale. If you'd like to give your donation on YouTube, you could use a super sticker or super chat or super thanks. I do not read with card reversals, so you'll see me flipping cards right side up. It's just how I like to read. All is well, I promise. I know it's not super common, but it is one of the traditional ways of reading tarot cards. All right, let's see here. I'm going to tell you something else, but I can't remember what. So I'm just going to sit here and shuffle. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. Sending you many blessings for a beautiful day. Today, the 13th of July, 2023. All right, I think about 2 more shuffles ought to do it. Then I'm going to give this deck a nice clean cut. We'll see what's in the cards for everybody today, the 13th of July, 2023. Thank you so much for being here today. Starting out with a 7 of Wands. Then we have this Queen of Wands and an 8 of Wands. So it's a wandy day. Wands represent our work in the world, our passions, our career, our job, those kinds of things, how we express ourselves in the world. Many of you have had a turnaround, so then some of the work that you're doing is working out better. So that for some of you that could be things like a promotion or a new job, or things just working out better in your creative work. Whatever your work is, it's really been taking a turn for the better. And now I think for many of you has stimulated your desire to nurture your work more, to do a better job at whatever it is that you do, get more creative, and really feeling those that connection to your own creativity, no matter. When I say creativity, a lot of times it's easy to misunderstand. That doesn't necessarily mean artistic, like creative work, although it can, but it means that being creative in whatever you do, from food service to to website management, whatever it is that you do, finding creative new ways and getting excited about what it is that you're doing. And when you are creative and excited about what you're doing, you do a better job, you're more successful at what you do, you get better response from the world for what you do, and you contribute more to the well-being of everybody, because when you are in touch with your creativity, you're in touch with your soul. When you're in touch with your soul, you're in touch with the light of the entire universe. And so everything that you contribute from that perspective is good for you and everybody. So it's a really nice place to be. Now, just looking forward, it looks like you're poised to have some things complete. Now, a lot of times we don't like completion. A lot of us equate completion with something scary. Endings are scary. But actually, endings are important, because that that's how you start the next phase and the next phase. If you are always avoiding things coming to an end, always avoiding completion, then you never really progress. You're always sort of on a little bit of a Groundhog Day. So when you notice things coming to an end, it's time to celebrate. You want to actually encourage those endings and recognize that that's a natural part of everything, is that everything is cyclical. And so when something ends, whether it's today or maybe even in the near future, you want to look at your response to that. Because if you don't understand it for what it is, and you sort of even subliminally want to avoid it or stop the endings, what you're doing is you're stopping your own creative process. You're stopping your own success. So letting things come to an end. And sometimes when things need to come to an end, they come to an end quickly. And that's oftentimes what this 8 represents, is real quick endings. That doesn't necessarily mean something good is coming to an end or something bad is coming to an end. It's not even a value judgment. It's just natural cycles of completion and restarting. And there's something that is kind of lodged in the consciousness of humanity where we believe that all endings are negative. And we don't even question it. We don't even realize that. But it's because of those weird feelings about completion that we thwart our own success and thwart our own creativity, because subliminally, even without even realizing what we're doing, we tend to avoid completion. We tend to avoid endings. All right, we've got the Hanged Man. We've got the Ace of Coins. And we've got this beautiful Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups, let's go backwards. The Page of Cups is the card of good news. And so clearing the way for this good news is part of what these endings are for. When things come to a completion, then you can reflect back on the cycle of whatever it is. As you're doing that reflective experience, as you're having that reflective experience, I should say, you want to invite in that silent reverie. That, being able to just be quiet and reflect about what's happened, and reflect on your work as a whole. When you do that, you want to allow yourself to be receptive to the good news about it, because there is so much good news available to you. But if you're not allowing yourself to have that completion, then you're not allowing yourself to have the peace. And if you're not allowing yourself to have that moment of peace, then you're not in a posture where you can receive this good news about whatever is happening. So finding that peace, part of finding that peace is finding that completion, finding that sense of ending. And ending is always a new beginning, but let yourself be okay with the endings too. A lot of times people say, well, when a window closes, a door opens, or when a door closes, a window opens. That's true, but let's sit with the ending for a minute and recognize that it's not a negative. The endings are not negative. They're not bad because they're endings. They're good. Yay, we completed something. It's lost its effectiveness. So now it seems to disappear. Even if it's like a relationship ending, which I'm not saying it is, I'm not predicting such things, but even when a relationship ends, our automatic thought is, well, it must have been a failed relationship, so it ended. But in reality, if we looked at it, actually we've come together, we've learned so many things, we've done so well together, and now our ability to learn from one another has been completed. So the relationship is complete. So we appear to separate. It's not necessarily that the relationship failed. It's that the relationship succeeded. And we don't, now we're on to the next relationship or whatever it is. So it's true for your job too, and for your career and all of those things. When a project completes, it doesn't mean that it's a failure. It means that you've completed it and that you can move on. And when you get that sense of completion, there is a sense of peace in there if you're able to sit with that and then listen very intently about all the good news about whatever has transpired and wherever and what is ahead of you, right? Because a lot of it includes, and this has been coming up for the last few readings, includes a new source of income or a re-energizing of a source of income. So there's really good things coming from these completions. So be aware of them, so that you're not even subliminally trying to put the brakes on when it looks like things are ending. When things are ending, that is opening the way for a lot of good financial prosperity. I think a lot of what the turnaround that we talked about at the beginning of the reading has happened for many of you, have come off your tree, have come down off of your tree. When you're hanging by a foot off of a tree, it appears like you have no say. It appears like you're victimized. And what you're realizing with this turnaround is actually that's not the case. You're not victimized at all. You have all the say. Because when you look at things upside down, of course it feels like you're a victim. But when you allow yourself to be guided and led to perceive things correctly, you realize that you're not victimized. You actually are not hanging upside down, but you do have to put your foot down. You do have to say yes or no, depending on what it is that you're being guided to. And that's what's been happening for many of you. You've been able to actually get your voice back to say, no, we're not doing it this way, or yes, we're doing it this way. And like I said, since there's been a kind of like a turnaround or an improvement in many of your work lives, a lot of that improvement, I think, comes from you being able to know what you want and to be able to say no when you mean no and say yes when you mean yes, and not allow yourself to perceive yourself as being victimized, but instead perceive yourself as being very powerful, and that your voice carries weight, and that when you do that, things change, and things have been changing. Now, as they continue to change and you continue to prosper, the next phase for many of you, as we've been saying how many times now, is to allow things to end, allow things to complete, and to see that as the success that it is, not as a failure. That's the basic tenor of today's reading. Now, this Queen of Wands is kind of at the center of who you are. So really kind of committing yourself and dedicating yourself to whatever it is that you love. Really commit to it, getting better at certain things, getting better skills. And it's not because it's like this awful assignment. It's because you want to. Like, yeah, of course I want to learn how to do more of this, and I can't wait to learn how to do more of that, and I want to get better at this, and I want to get better at that, and it's so exciting, and I just love this work. I love figuring all this stuff out. Whatever it is, just that's the grounding that you want, is being grounded into your passions. Let that be the star of your show. And at part of that, part of being any kind of an artist, and again, being an artist doesn't necessarily mean being in the creative world. Any type of activity is your art form. But part of being an artist, just like being a writer, being a film producer, any of that, is editing. Is allowing certain things to not be there anymore. Allow certain things to complete themselves, get to the end of their cycle, and be happy that they are ended. Not because you're getting rid of them or they're so bad or that you've lost something wonderful, but because they have been completed. They've completed their cycle, and that brings you great peace. So listening to that still small voice within you while you're experiencing those states of completion is going to give you so much wisdom as to where to go from here. Reminding yourself that you always have the power to say no or to say yes according to what your soul dictates. You can, if you have time, listen to my meditation based on that Hanged Man card, and it's called, I think, Using Your Sacred Power of No. Is that right? It's called Using Your Sacred Power of No. Yes. Yes, it's Using Your Sacred Power of No. So, and that's available on my YouTube channel. And also, if you go to my website, ariels-corner.com, you can just click on the Tarot Meditations tab in the Meditations tab of the main website. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And thank you so much to the amazing moderators, Honeypot and Diane. And we'll see you all for another reading tomorrow. Blessed be.